peaceful for them when people are upset and cry.
And it should be. And you know what? They do not deserve, it's like the Germans that said I was just doing my job or whatever they said. You do not deserve to have a job like this, to earn money like this, violating people's rights.
Just following orders.
Pardon?
Just following my orders.
Right, exactly. In New York, I worked as a bike messenger. I worked as a substitute chicken handing out flyers on the street. I was a mover. I have the arms of an 8-year-old child. I mean, I had terrible jobs because I didn't have any money, but I for sure wouldn't take a job, no matter how well paid, where I was paid to violate people's rights hour by hour, day by day, take home a paycheck 40 hours a week. And how can you be proud about that?
Well, what's crazy, Amy, is what comes around goes around. They're in there with the scanners, scanning the luggage being radiated. That's been coming out for 30 years. And they're now radiating you, but they're the ones that are cooking. And just laughing at us isn't going to protect them. It turns out internally the TSA is freaking out. Every time I fly to Austin, they want my autograph. Other parts of the country, there's some of them that just want a job and are upset. There's others that are on power trips. But we've got to stand up against them, and I salute your courage, and we're going to watch this case as it develops. People should go to your site and buy copies of your latest book to support you because you're obviously under attack. God bless you, and we appreciate you spending time with us.
Thank you very much, and thanks for what you do.
We'll continue. Well, we'll either hang together or hang separate. Thank you, Amy. We're going to go to break now, ladies and gentlemen, and come back with another big move in the police state. Mr. Allison, the gentleman who recorded and videotaped police at public events and told them he was and is now facing life in prison in southern Illinois. And you may be thinking it's just a boss hog small town. Well, think again. The state prosecutors have come down and they say, yes, we think this is reasonable. Life in prison if you film us. And we've talked to people on the street in Austin and ran into a cop from Europe who told us that he thinks it's reasonable as well because he doesn't like being videotaped. So life in prison. We'll be right back.
It is a big idea, a new world order.
In the near future, Earth is dominated by a powerful world government.
It's known as the Bilderberg Group. Could their objective be world domination?
For thousands of years, their dark order grew. Now, as they hail the birth of the New World Order, their great dream of exterminating 80% of humanity is at hand. For the first time in history, the elite's plan for world government is blown wide open. You will learn the secret that drives the entire New World Order agenda.
Bilderberg is making great progress toward a world government, and only an educated, informed public can stop them in their tracks.
Alex, it's Chalabi, eh?
For the first time, all the pieces have been put together. The dots have been connected, and the picture is crystal clear. Earth's ruling elite believe they have discovered the fountain of youth. But before they can attain it, 80% of us must die. A psychopathic technocracy is establishing world government so there can be no escape from their plan.
The New World Order is the old world order. I mean, it's just the names have changed, the appearances have changed.
Most people have no idea. They're not after money. They have all the money they need. They're after power. That's their aphrodisiac.
I was pulled out of a plane in Munich. They interrogated me for 4 hours. Some shots were fired.
I need you to move off the property.
Their great dream of exterminating 80% of humanity is at hand. Endgame, blueprint for global enslavement. You have been warned.
You have found it, the front lines in the info war, InfoWars Nightly News. Learn more and subscribe at prisonplanet.tv or InfoWarsNews.com. Now, Sheriff Richard Mack is coming up a little bit later, but first, I want to get into this report. dealing with the IRS. Now, I first saw this a few years ago in England being proposed, and now in the U.S., that your paycheck be put automatically in a bank account, and the government's already snooping on your bank accounts without warrants, and that they take out the amount they want in withholding, so your employer doesn't even have to do it. But now they're going one further. They're saying, we're going to watch your bank account in live time, because you can't be trusted. You're guilty until proven innocent, so that the private Federal Reserve can have its collection agency, the IRS, quote, do your taxes and assess it for you. Now, they already gone pretty much all the way on this 6 years ago when they changed laws, where now CPAs are liable to the IRS for everything they do. And the tax code is so Byzantine that you've got Forbes has done, Forbes magazine, and so is Money. They'll have 20, 30, 40 different tax accountants, depending on the year, do somebody's tax return and get 30, 40, 50 different answers. Everyone is different. Well, now they just say, don't give people any loopholes. Don't give people any waivers, even if it's in the law. Those are only for the elites. And the CPA says, sorry, I'm not going to do your taxes. Then if you do your own taxes, then they come and audit you. But again, the big mega banks are all exempt. So it just goes on and on and on. Now, if you get angry about local taxes or them hauling off your perfectly good automobiles that are running because they want to sell them, well, guess what's going to happen? You're going to get 75 years in prison. Some people are serving 5, 7, 12-year terms in 12 different states. The police are going to videotape you all day, but you don't video and audio tape them in public because they're God, they're king. And so we're going to be looking more at the case of Michael Allison. You know, there's few things that make me speechless, but my God, is this country not becoming Soviet Russia or Nazi Germany?
Thank you, Alex. I'm Darrin McBreen for INFOWARS Nightly News. The First Circuit Court of Appeals has ruled that it is not illegal for citizens to videotape police officers when they are on public duty. After all, they are public servants, and we are all protected by the First Amendment. But the ruling hasn't stopped police from arresting people anyway, even though they know full well that the charges won't hold up in court. All right, well, we're talking about the fact that the police are starting to arrest people, put them in jail for videotaping them with their cell phones and video cameras. And do you think it's fair that the police are doing this, even though they're allowed to videotape you with their dash cams and other recording devices, yet they expect us not to be allowed to videotape them? What do you think about that?
I don't think it's fair at all. First of all, I believe it's contrary to the First Amendment.
If they're able to record us, then we should be able to record them. It's only fair.
There needs to be checks and balances. I don't trust them. I don't trust them.
It's always us getting in trouble because they have the cameras on us. But when the camera's on them, it's a threat to them because then they know that they could get caught very easily doing something they're not supposed to.
It's very selfish of them, and as a member of society, I feel threatened by that.
When we did the research for this report, we discovered that there are literally hundreds of court cases, federal and state, where the cops are arresting people for recording them with their video cameras and cell phones. In the case of 41-year-old auto mechanic Michael Allison, the Illinois Attorney General's office is determined to make an example out of him to intimidate the public against filming the actions of police. Allison faces a life sentence on 5 separate counts of eavesdropping charges, and that adds up to 75 years behind bars.
75 years behind bars. A prison sentence that long is rarely handed down, and it's usually just for murderers or rapists. But a local man faces 75 years in prison for a nonviolent crime. What he's accused of doing is something many people have done, but most don't realize it's actually illegal.
Now, what kind of person do you think would justify putting an innocent man behind bars for 75 years for videotaping police officer on public duty?
Obviously, some person who's doesn't treat everyone fair. I don't think that's reasonable just for recording them.
Putting someone behind for 75 years is ridiculous. It makes no sense.
So don't you think it's time for police and prosecutors to start getting indicted for this kind of behavior?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like they should be equal. Just because they got a badge doesn't make them any different from us.
Yeah, if anything, they should be the ones targeted with illegal conduct.
Yeah, exactly.
What I want to know is, where's the Constitution in all this? Where's the First Amendment in all this?
When you see a police car in your rear view mirror, do you feel safe or do you feel threatened?
I feel threatened automatically.
When I see a cop in the rear view, it used to be where I felt safe and I felt protected. And now that's not the case no more. Now I feel targeted. Now I feel harassed. I don't feel safe at all.
The charges against Illinois auto mechanic Michael Allison and other cases like his clearly demonstrate just how far the authorities are willing to go in their efforts to eliminate the rights of citizens and to prevent them from documenting the abuses of police and other government officials. The good news is that these types of cases are being thrown out of court all across the country. However, the bad news is that the police are continuing to arrest people as a form of intimidation. I'm Darrin McBreen for INFOWARS Nightly News. Back to you, Alex.
It's like I've woken up in an alternate dimension where the police film us, but we can't film them, where you can't have lemonade stands, where they're arresting people trying to sell tomatoes on the side of the road, where Gibson Guitar has been told move out of the country, officially in court. But really, it's not the Twilight Zone. It's not the outer limits. This is what happens in every culture when you let control freaks take control of society. When you don't defend liberty, that precious jewel that Thomas Jefferson talked about, you are delivered into the hands of tyrants. And it's happening on every front. It's getting wilder and wilder by the day. Now, the gentleman we're about to talk to is Michael Allison. And of course, a few weeks ago, it made international headlines when the police on record said, yeah, we're going to put him in jail. We're charged. He's been charged 75 years or basically life in prison. He's 41 for filming and taping them at public events. Now, to break down what happened, give us the backstory and the latest developments is Michael Allison. And remember, this isn't just some boss hog town. They have sent the big state attorney to try to back this up and say, yes, we back the other 12 states that are now doing this, and they misinterpret this law for wiretapping. This just has incredible ramifications. Joining us again is Michael Allison on the phone. Michael, thank you for coming on, sir.
Thank you for having me on.
Well, for TV viewers, we only got about 8-9 minutes. How did this start? And you've now been arrested twice. And they're going forward with it. Life in prison. They're very proud of it. And you have a lawyer that's come to your defense, but you also need a lawyer to get on the offense, which we should. I mean, falsely charging somebody and trying to throw